So good morning once again, students. We continue with Act 3 Scene 2 of The Merchant of Venice from where we had left off last week. So all of you please take out your English textbooks, Merchant of Venice textbooks, and please open on the page where we had stopped in our previous video. And I'll once again be explaining line by line, and I expect all of you to watch this video till the end. And the benefit of this type of video is that once I make it for you, I don't have to again explain any line to you, because you can always replay it and you can always listen to it. Wherever you are not able to understand, you can once again go back and listen to my explanations. And remember one more thing, whatever is being taught by means of these videos during this period of lockdown, these are not going to be repeated again when the school reopens, and we will continue with whatever is in hand at that time after the school reopens. So don't expect that these things will be taught again in the class. You are board class students and you are expected to prepare yourself properly for the board examinations coming up next year, and don't be under the false impression that your board exams will be delayed. There is every possibility, because the Council for the Indian School Certificate Examinations has not declared cancellation of any board examination as of now. This year's board examinations, those papers which have not yet been conducted, only yesterday there has been a notification given by the Council that all those papers will be conducted once the lockdown period gets over. So if this is the case with the present batch, then in the coming session also the board exams will be conducted, and so you must keep on your preparations going, otherwise you may have problem at the last moment. So watch the video and understand line by line, and as I have been telling you, all the side notes which are provided in the textbook alongside the text are to be also read and understood and remembered. There are a lot of mythological and historical references. There are different names of different characters which you need to remember, and you need to know the right spellings. Now by now I hope you have got ready with your textbooks, so let us begin. So we continue with what Portia was saying to Bassanio. Bassanio has already chosen the right casket, and so all the fears of Portia have disappeared, and Portia is commenting about, we were discussing last page 94, and we had 94, 95, we had discussed up to line number 177. On your screen you can see Portia's speech ending with, "and be my vantage to exclaim on you." Portia has given a ring to Bassanio, her fears are gone, now she is sure that she is marrying Bassanio, and she seals this contract of their love and wedlock by giving Bassanio a ring. And she is also making Bassanio understand that if he loses the ring or parts from it, it will mean that their love is no longer in effect, and it will give her enough reason for her to find fault with Bassanio and exclaim on him, that is, accuse him. So now let's continue from what Bassanio says in response. So look at the screen or look at your textbook, and side by side also refer to the side notes. Bassanio says, "Madam, you have bereft me of all words. Only my blood speaks to you in my veins." Madam, you have basically deprived me or taken away or have made me empty of being able to speak anything. My words are failing me, so only my blood speaks to you. My blood, which is flowing in my veins, is actually speaking to you. And there is such confusion in my powers, as after some oration fairly spoke by a beloved prince, there doth appear among the buzzing pleased multitude. So he says that it seems like my condition is like a beloved prince. So it seems that after a much beloved prince speaks to the crowd, and after he finishes speaking, the murmuring with admiration that can be heard from the crowd, my condition is somewhat like that among the buzzing pleased multitude. Multitude means crowd. See the side notes: oration fairly spoke, speech well delivered, My thoughts, powers means my thoughts. So there is so much of confusion in my thoughts, just like he compares his condition to that of a beloved prince, or a prince who is loved by his subjects. When he has given a very good speech, what happens to his listeners, or what does he notice or observe among his listeners? He can see that they are murmuring with admiration. It's explained alongside. You can see the explanations also side by side. There doth appear among the buzzing pleased multitude, where every something being blent together turns to a wild of nothing save of joy. That means, and there is so much of confusion in my thoughts, like the one that follows after a fine speech of a beloved prince among a murmuring delighted audience, where every something, meaning to say where every feeling or every something blended together produces a wild confusion expressing nothing. That is a wild confusion. But joy expresses nothing but joy, which finds only inarticulate expression, or expressed and not expressed expressions. Let's make it simpler. Favorite prince has given a speech, and he has given this speech wonderfully well. People were listening to him, and once he finishes speaking, the people are talking among themselves out of delight, out of happiness, because they have just heard the speech of their favorite beloved prince. So that is what he is talking about here. He says, my condition is like that favorite prince. After he finishes giving the speech, he looks around and sees how the people are reacting. So my condition is like that. Now I don't know what to say. I'm just observing the reaction of everyone. So I have chosen the right casket, and now I am observing the reaction of everyone. Everything around me is just like as if the crowd of people, after they have heard me speak, are reacting happily. So everything around me is nothing but joyful, save of joy expressed and not expressed. But when this ring parts from this finger, but then I can assure you, madam, that this ring which you have given me, if I ever remove it from my finger, then parts life from hence. Then it would mean that life will also go from my body. That means with my life I will protect this ring which you have given me. Oh, then be bold to say Bassanio's dead. If you see the ring gone, then you may be bold enough to say that Bassanio is also gone. That means he is also dead. So nothing can separate me from this ring. In simpler words, nothing can separate me from this ring but my death. Nerissa. My lord and lady, it is now our time, that have stood by and seen our wishes prosper, to cry good joy, my lord and lady. My lord and lady, now Nerissa refers to Bassanio as her lord, and of course Portia is her lady, so master and mistress. Now it is our time. We also want to express our happiness, and we also want to wish you all success and prosperity and joy in life. So Nerissa is also wanting to wish her mistress and her master. So this is Nerissa's reaction to the happy hour which has come upon that is Portia and Bassanio. And Gratiano speaks up. Now there is something going on between Gratiano and Nerissa which will now be revealed. My lord Bassanio and my gentle lady, I wish you all the joy that you can wish, for I am sure you can wish none from me. And when your honours mean to solemnize the bargains of your faith, I do beseech you, even at that time I may be married too. Meaning to say, my lord Bassanio, my friend Bassanio, and my gentle lady, my Bhabiji, my gentle lady, here refers to Portia. Don't be surprised, he's a friend, so he says that I wish you all the joy that you can wish. I wish you all the joy of life, all the joys of life which you can wish for, because I am sure you can wish none from me, because you cannot wish for any more than I wish for you. Meaning to say, you can wish for all the joy in the world, and I hope and pray that all those things are fulfilled, all those joys come to you, but I can assure you, I am wishing you more joy in life than what you can wish. So he's the best friend, he's one of the best friends of Bassanio, and therefore, of course, he's also feeling very happy and he's wishing them joy. This is nothing but a happy moment, and so everyone, all the friends, all those who are around, they are wishing joy to both us, Bassanio and Portia. And then he says, your honors mean to solemnize the bargain of your faith. When the two of you, Honorable Portia and Honorable Bassanio, when you decide to solemnize your marriage, the actual ceremony of the marriage when it takes place, I request you, I do beseech you, even at that time, even at that very moment, I should also be married. Oh my goodness. He has also decided that he wants to get married at the same time when Bassanio gets married. So please give me permission so that I can also be married. Bassanio is so happy to hear this, and he says, with all my heart, so thou canst get a wife. Yes, of course, with all my heart I support that, and I think that can definitely be done, but then provided you are able to get a wife for yourself first. Have you decided whom you want to marry? Have you got a wife for yourself that you are going to marry? And Gratiano says, I thank your lordship. We have already come to page 96. Students, please follow. I thank your lordship, you have got me one. I would like to thank you, Bassanio. Your lordship means Bassanio. You have actually got me a wife. My eyes, my lord, can look as swift as yours. Just as your eyes are swift, so also are my eyes. You saw the mistress, I beheld the maid. While you were looking at the mistress, I was looking at the maid. You loved, I loved. You loved her, and I also loved the maid. For intermission, no more pertains to me. For a period of waiting, no more pertains to me, is no more welcome to me. I don't want to wait any longer. There is no need for waiting because I have also fallen in love. Your fortune stood upon the caskets there. So did mine too. So just as your luck depended, your marrying Portia depended on the caskets, so also my luck depended on those caskets. As the matter falls. That is how things happened actually. For wooing here until I sweat again, and swearing till my very roof was dry with oaths of love, at last, a promise last, I got a promise of this fair one here. So just as you were busy selecting, choosing the casket, I was busy trying to woo the maid, that is Nerissa. What was Gratiano doing in the meantime? We did not notice. We were busy with Portia and Bassanio. Bassanio was choosing the casket. Portia was ordering the musicians to come in, and the music was being played, and so many things were being said by Portia. We did not have time to look at Gratiano. Gratiano was in the meantime busy with Nerissa. He was requesting her, proposing to her, insisting that she should agree to marry him. And in this way, he went on talking to her so that he was sweating and, he was swearing in the sense, he was making lots of promises to her till the upper part of his mouth became absolutely dry. Roof refers to the upper portion of the mouth, inside the mouth. So it was totally dry with oaths of love. And finally, he got her promise. If promise last, I got a promise of this fair one here, to have her love, provided that your fortune achieved her mistress. So she finally agreed to love me and marry me, provided you were able to choose the right casket and marry Portia. Nerissa gave her consent finally after much persuasion by Gratiano. Nerissa said, okay, fine, I am ready to love you and I am ready to marry you, no doubt, but it will all depend on your friend Bassanio choosing the right casket. If he is able to be successful in choosing the right casket, and if he is able to marry my mistress, that is Portia, then I will also marry you, otherwise not. So finally I got her consent. Portia, is this true, Nerissa? For Portia also this is a shock. So she turns to Nerissa and asks, is it true, Nerissa? Nerissa is feeling, right now you can imagine that she is She has lowered her head and smiling, blushing, and saying, "Madam, it is. So you stand pleased withal." "Yes, ma'am, it is true." Um, so it is true that if it pleases you, I would like to reveal the truth to you, madam, that yes, it is true. And Bassanio says, "And do you, Graciano, mean good faith?" Now, Bassanio is a bit doubtful about Graciano because he talks a lot, and this guy, you never know if he's serious or not. So Bassanio says, "Are you truly serious about this, Graciano? I hope this is not just, that you are flirting with her and just for the time being, just to while away, just to pass your time, you are simply playing this game of love. Are you serious? Tell me." Because now Bassanio also has to think about the prestige of Portia, because now Portia is legally his wife. So he is the master of everything that is owned by Portia, and so Portia's dignity is at stake. So he is asking this question to Graciano. But Graciano says, "Yes, faith, my lord. Yes, my lord, my friend. In truth, it is what I mean. In faith." So Bassanio says, "Our feast shall be much honored in your marriage." So then Bassanio is relieved and he says, "Okay, then our feast, wedding feast, will be much honored by your marriage." So it is going to be a great occasion, a double celebration, we should say. Graciano says, "But who comes here? Lorenzo and his infidel?" Suddenly, two people arrive, and Graciano remarks, "Who is coming here? Lorenzo?" Of course, Lorenzo is their friend, so he knows Lorenzo. And he also knows whom Lorenzo loves. We know that Lorenzo and Jessica had escaped from Venice, from Shylock's house. After that, we did not see them. And now here they are. They have also reached Belmont. So the third romantic subplot, first romantic subplot, you have Portia and Bassanio. Second romantic subplot, in fact, you should consider Lorenzo and Jessica as the second romantic subplot, and the third romantic subplot. So there are three romantic subplots. You have Nerissa and Graciano, you have Lorenzo and Jessica, and you have Portia and Bassanio. So here now, infidel. Why infidel? Infidel means non-believer. So Jessica is being referred to as a non-believer. Why? Because she is not a Christian. So Lorenzo and his infidel and his non-believer companion. What? And my old Venetian friend Salerio. And not only Jessica and Lorenzo, there is one more person accompanying them, and that is Salerio. We have met Salerio before? No, we haven't. We have met Salarino and Salanio. Now this one is Salerio. So there are three guys with three guys with different names, but their names are so similar. You have Salerio, you have Salarino, you have Salanio. So must not get confused. In this scene, it's Salerio. So my old friend Salerio has also come here. Okay, fine. Enter Lorenzo, Jessica and Salerio. We have come to page 97. Bassanio. Lorenzo and Salerio, welcome hither. Welcome here, both Lorenzo and Salerio. If that the youth of my new interest here have power to bid you welcome. Well, if I am given the permission to welcome you here by means of what I have achieved just now, if I am to consider myself the lord of this place where I am standing right now, if everything belongs to me now, then if I have that power, the newly acquired claim to be the master of this place, then let me welcome you officially to this place. By your leave, I bid my very friends and countrymen, sweet Portia, welcome. With your kind permission, Portia, these are my friends and countrymen. They have come from Venice, and I would like to welcome them if you allow me, madam. Portia says, so do I, my lord. They are entirely welcome. Yes, of course, my lord. I also welcome them. They are absolutely welcome to this place. So Lorenzo says, I thank your honor. For my part, my lord, my purpose was not to have seen you here. Thank you so much for welcoming me. As far as I am concerned, actually, I never wanted to come here. It was not my intention to have come here and to meet you here. But meeting with Salerio, by the way, he did entreat me, past all saying nay, to come with him along. But actually, what happened was, when I was on my way to some other place, I met Salerio on the way, and he insisted that I should join him to come here. He was coming here and he forced me to follow him and come with him. So I came because of Salerio. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come here to interfere or disturb you at this moment. It was not my intention. Salerio says, I did, my lord. Yes, my lord. Yes, Bassanio. Actually, I insisted that Lorenzo should come with me. And I have reason for it. And I have a reason behind it. Why I asked him to come with me. There is a reason for it. Signor Antonio commends him to you. Actually, Master Antonio has sent his greetings to you. And he gives a letter to Bassanio. He says only this much, though he knows more, but he gives a letter written by Antonio to Bassanio, that he has sent his greetings and has given a letter. I have come here to deliver this letter. And I told Lorenzo to come with me. So Bassanio says, I ope this letter. Before I open this letter, means before, op means open. Before I open this letter, I pray you tell me how my good friend doth. Before I open this letter, please, I request you, tell me how is my good friend doing these days. Is he okay? He's all right? Salerio, not sick, my lord, unless it be in mind. He is not sick, my lord, unless it is the sickness of his mind, nor well unless in mind. Nor can we call him well unless it is his mind. His letter there will show you his estate. See, Salerio is actually not revealing the fact directly. He is just giving a hint, and he is trying to say that unless it is in his mind, he is not sick. So he is physically all right, but as far as his mind is concerned, he is not all right. So this letter here, if you open it, you will know his present condition and financial fortunes. Estate means two things. The meanings are explained. You must always refer to the meanings side by side. So Bassanio reads the letter. He opens the envelope, takes out the letter and starts reading. So while he is reading the letter, the rest are talking. Let's see. Graciano, Nerissa, cheer, yon stranger, bid her welcome. Nerissa, cheer up that stranger who is standing there. About whom is he talking here? He's talking about Jessica. Jessica all this time is keeping quiet. She is standing there. She is in a new place with the man she loves, and she doesn't know anyone here. And she's standing here, and so Graciano is saying to Nerissa, Nerissa, go and talk to her. Cheer her up. She is feeling out of place and she is feeling a bit odd. So go and talk to her. Welcome her. Your hand, Salerio. And Salerio, come on, shake hand with me. And he stretches out his hand towards Salerio. What's the news from Venice? So what is the news? What is the latest news from Venice? So we come to page 98. How doth that royal merchant, good Antonio? How is he doing? That great merchant, that royal merchant, Antonio. Is he all right? Is he doing fine? I know he will be glad of our success. I know when he comes to know about our success, that we have both found our wives after coming to Belmont, he will be very happy to know it, that our lives are going to be settled. We are the Jasons, we have won the fleece. So once again the reference to the golden fleece which we had earlier in the play. So we are the Jasons. Remember that Jason had gone in search of the golden fleece and had managed to get it. And not only did he manage to get the golden fleece, he also managed to rescue his father, Aeson. So we had discussed this in the class last year. I'm sure you remember. So we are the Jasons and we have won the fleece. Salerio says, I would you had won the fleece that he had lost. Salerio knows everything about Antonio's condition. He is coming from Venice. So he says, I would means I wish. I wish you had won that fleece which your friend Antonio has lost. What is it? His wealth, his property, his money. Antonio is bankrupt. Portia, in the meantime, is observing Bassanio, who is now reading the letter. And as he reads the letter, his expression changes. His face turns pale. His eyes become big with amazement, with shock. There must be something wrong. There must be something odd written in that letter, and that is what Portia can make out from the expression on her husband's face. And so she says, there are some shrewd contents in yon same paper. There are some unpleasant contents in that same paper which he is holding and reading, that steals the color from Bassanio's cheek. That's the reason why his cheeks have become pale. The color, the blood seems to have gone from his cheeks. He's looking so pale. Some dear friend dead? So Portia's guess. Is some dear friend dead or something? Some bad news? Else nothing in the world could turn so much the constitution of any constant man. Otherwise nothing can change the complexion of such a normal man. What worse and worse with Leave Bassanio? What he grows worse and worse. My goodness. His condition is worsening. His facial expression is changing from bad to worse and worse to worst. With leave, Bassanio, with your permission, Bassanio, I am half yourself. Please don't forget, I am your better half. So I am half of you. Man and wife, husband and wife are said to be half of each other. So I am your better half, I am half of you. So I have a right to know what is written in that letter. Please tell me. I must freely have the half of anything that is the same, that this same paper brings you. So I must know this same paper which you are holding in your hand. What is written in that paper? I have a right to know. Please tell me. Bassanio speaks to Portia. Says, oh sweet Portia. Oh my dear sweet Portia, here are a few of the unpleasantest words that ever blotted paper. Here in this paper are written some of the most unpleasant words that have ever been written on paper with ink. Gentle lady, when I did first impart my love to you, I freely told you all the wealth I had ran in my veins. I was a gentleman. When I expressed my love to you for the first time, if you remember, I had told you that all the wealth which I have is in the form of the blood that flows in my veins. I was a gentleman. That means those were the words of a gentleman. I did not lie to you. I don't have any other wealth. Money, riches, wealth, property, I don't have anything. I was speaking the truth at that time when I told you that all my wealth is in the form of my blood which flows in my veins. I don't have any materialistic wealth in life. It's all in the form of my blood. I was being a gentleman. That is, I was being true to my words like a gentleman when I said those things to you. And then I told you true, and yet, dear lady, rating myself at nothing, you shall see how much I was a braggart. So, valuing my wealth, I was actually exaggerating my position. When I told you my state was nothing, I should then have told you that I was worse than nothing. So in terms of real property and wealth, when I told you that I did not have anything except my blood in my veins which is full of love for you, I should have then told you that actually in real life also I don't have any property, any wealth. I should have told you. For indeed I have engaged myself to a dear friend, engaged my friend to his mere enemy to feed my means. Because in reality, I have engaged myself to a friend, and that friend has in turn engaged himself to his enemy to provide me with the funds so that I could come here. In other words, I had no money. I only had love for you. That's what I told you, that my blood flows in my veins and that is the only wealth I have, and that's my love for you. I should have then told you that I did not have the money to come to Belmont. I went to a friend, and that friend in turn borrowed money for me from his enemy so that I could come here, so that he could provide me with the funds necessary for me to come here in style and present myself as a candidate or a suitor and then marry you. Here is a letter, lady. So we come to page 99. The paper is the body of my friend, and every word in it a gaping wound issuing live blood. This paper is like the body of my friend. Every word written in this paper, see how explicit and how extraordinarily explicit here Bassanio becomes. He says, this paper is like the body of my friend, and every word written in this piece of paper is like an open wound through which the lifeblood of my friend is flowing out. Gaping wound, issuing lifeblood. But is it true, Salerio? He turns to Salerio in between and says, is it really true, Salerio, that this is the condition right now? While I am away from Venice, this has happened. Hath all his ventures failed? You mean to say that all his ships have been destroyed? All his business ventures have been ruined, failed. Is it true? What? Not one hit? Not even a single ship returned successfully after doing business abroad? Not a single of his ships. From Tripolis, from Mexico and England, from Lisbon and Barbary and India. There were so many ships. All these countries had gone to all these countries of the world. Not a single ship returned. Is it really true, Salerio? And not one vessel escaped the dreadful touch of merchant marring rocks. Not even a single vessel has been able to escape the rocks that ruin merchants, destroying their ships. You mean to say not a single ship has returned? Salerio, not one, my lord. Besides, it should appear that if he had the present money to discharge the Jew, he would not take it. Not a single ship has returned. And another problem is that this man, Shylock, the Jew, even if now he has the money to give Shylock, he will not take it. Reason? The time period within which the money was supposed to be returned is already over, and now Shylock is demanding the penalty. He is saying he will not take money. Even if my friend manages money from somewhere else to pay him off, he will not take it. Never did I know a creature that did bear the shape of a man, so keen and greedy to confound a man. I have never known a creature who bears or who has the shape of a human being, but who is actually so devilish that he wants to destroy or finish off another human being. He's so greedy. He plies the Duke. He goes to the Duke of Venice twice a day, morning and at night, and doth impeach the freedom of the state if they deny him justice. And not only is he visiting the Duke of Venice twice a day, morning and night, he's insisting, he's threatening, he's again and again mentioning and pointing out to the Duke of Venice that the equality that the system of justice provides, or the law provides to all those who live in Venice, will be impeached or will be completely removed if he is not given justice just because he is a Jew and not a Christian. So he's pointing it out to the Duke of Venice. I live in Venice too, just as Antonio does, and the law is equal for all. If you don't give me justice, then your law is null and void. It will not have any importance. It will be gone. The importance of this law will be finished. So he's pointing it out to the Duke, and he's visiting the Duke twice a day, morning and at night. 20 merchants, the Duke himself and the Magnificos. 20 merchants. At least 20 traders, 20 businessmen who were friends of Antonio, the Duke himself, and even the noblemen of greatest port who held very high positions. They have all persuaded, requested Shylock, pleaded with him that Shylock, this is not the way. Don't ask for such a horrible penalty. But none can drive him from the envious plea of forfeiture of justice and his bond. But not a single one of them. All the merchants have tried. The Duke himself has tried. Duke is the king of Venice. And Venice was in those days a small dukedom. Dukedom is the smaller version of a kingdom, ruled by a duke. So Duke is virtually a king. So he's going to the Duke every day and reminding the Duke to give him justice. He wants the penalty of his bond as mentioned in the bond which was signed by Antonio at the time of borrowing 3,000 ducats. He says, I want the penalty of a pound of Antonio's flesh. And the Magnificos have tried, the noblemen, 20 merchants have tried, and the Duke has also tried to persuade Shylock not to ask for such a penalty, not to take such a penalty, not to ask for that kind of justice. But he won't listen. Jessica, when I was with him, I have heard him swear to Tubal and to Chus. Jessica is Shylock's daughter. Shylock is being discussed here, so Jessica cannot keep quiet. And Jessica does not like her father. That's why she has run away with a Christian friend of Antonio and Bassanio. And so now Jessica is speaking up. She's saying, when I was with him, when I used to be with Shylock, my father, I have heard him swear to his two friends, Tubal and Cus. Tubal and Chus or Cus, as you may call him. These two were his countrymen. They were also Jews like him and close friends of Shylock. So he was swearing to them that he would rather have Antonio's flesh than 20 times the value of the sum that he did owe him. That he will take nothing but the penalty of the pound of Antonio's flesh as mentioned in the bond, rather than, even if he is offered 20 times the value of the sum, 3,000 ducats, even if 20 times of 3,000 ducats were to be offered to him, he would not accept it, rather he would have the penalty. And I know, my lord, if law, authority and power deny not, it will go hard with poor Antonio. And I know it very well, my lord, that if the law does not stop him, if the authority, the Venetian law, these don't stop him, then it's going to be very difficult now for Antonio, because this guy is not going to listen to any alternative or settle for anything else. He will have the penalty. Portia, who is listening to this, is now asking Bassanio, her husband, is it your dear friend that is thus in trouble? Is he your dear friend who is in such trouble? Portia wants to know, because Portia does not know Antonio, but from the situation at present, she can understand that Bassanio's closest friend must be in trouble, and so she is asking to be sure. So we stop here, line number 295. We have taken up from line 178 today, and we have finished up to line 295. We will again continue with this in the next Merchant of Venice class. So thank you very much.